Welcome back to the show. Still your program, Peace and Conflict Resolution. Safety and security don't just happen. They are the result of collective consensus and public investment that is credited to Nelson Mandela. Doctor, the issue of safety and security challenges in Nigeria as we speak, it is worrisome, and it is a call for everyone to come together to rescue this nation. And we cannot underlook the issue of terrorism and insurgency. Where are we and why are we here where we are?
It's actually a very big question and very relevant, especially when you take a look at development over time. But then we must understand the nature of the insecurity which Nigeria is actually going through. The fact remains that they are of different categories, especially when you take a look at the issue of terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping and those stuff. You have a particular group that is more of extremism, religious-wise, those who have an impression that things must go their way. It's not even the way the Holy Book they are claiming also talk about. Those who are just not out to even tolerate others in terms of living or existence. And so you have people, groups like Boko Haram and ISWAP and others that are just into that religious extremism. You have those who are into business, and so you see some of them, what they just do is kidnap, and those are the ones going after school children to kidnap and get ransom, you know. And then there are some criminals, criminal groups that are also there to just even like those who kidnap for ransom, and they are just part of the criminal group who just feel that you must actually kidnap or carry out some raids to justify because of the financial benefits also. So you must first understand that these are different groups with different objectives, and with this you now understand why has it been like this and why are we where we are. But I must tell you that this had been something that had been on for a very long time, a situation where even during the days of the military, there were some developments across the country, and especially in the border areas, and especially in some areas like in the northern part of Nigeria, when you talk about even Plateau, talk about Kaduna South, talk about even Benue State and those stuff. The motive had always been the fact that they want to take control. Occasionally I look at some of these strikes, when they strike and destroy or kill, what happens after death? What happens, you discover that some people will occupy that particular community that had been displaced, and they will install a king of their own and rename, even occasionally rename such communities. And there has never been a reaction, even from the government, at that particular period. So the issue of governance is also a major factor. Because if we have been having, especially during the military, if we have had good governance, there would have been a reaction, especially from the state. And the state will have taken some actions to sort of stop such. But when you do something and you are successful with it, definitely you'll be encouraged to continue. You ask a question that after that raid on a particular community, what happened to the recognition by the state government? Actually, they recognize them. And with that recognition, these people feel empowered and they continue to process in terms of raiding and then displacing, killing, acquiring, and getting some of the areas that they are raiding to be controlled by them. So the challenge had been one that had been there over time and non-action to sort of stop such. Rather, the military government in those days used to even protect such. When you take a look at what happened in Kaduna South and what Zamani, Lekpot and Co. also experienced, you can see that there was no doubt that you had some support of the government then in that particular area. So the alertness of government, decision making, the resources available in terms of how to counter such also matter.
To checkmate there.
To checkmate them. And even the judicial process, when some people were arrested, what happened to those arrested? The security system. And again, another problem is the fact that
you didn't talk about the judiciary, you didn't talk about the amnesty that,
No, amnesty issue, don't forget, was for the South militants. And that was during Jonathan era. And that was done as a way to sort of eradicate destruction that was going on in the Niger Delta. Because, the militants were saying and they were demanding for a better attention of their environment. That you come there, you exploit their resources, and you leave the area unattended to. Rather, they are the ones suffering. You are destroying as you are, getting your fuel, your oil from that particular area. The environment was being destroyed because of the waste. At the end of the day, they felt that they should fight for their rights, for their protection. That's quite different from the present situation, where some people also have other motives than just fighting for a right. Although some of them will tell you that they are fighting for their rights. Like Gumi said, that they are actually fighting for their rights. And you ask, what rights are they fighting for? What is the justification for killing, destroying, raiding? And you discover that many of them are even not Nigerians.
Many of them.
Yes, the issue of migration is also very, very vital. So how do we actually control our borders?
Porous border.
Then what do we do in terms of monitoring some conflicts within our neighborhood? Some of the arms that these people are displacing were some of the arms from places like Libya, places like Mali, and those stuff. And don't forget that we've been monitoring activities in Mali for a very long time. To what extent have we been able to sort of sensitize ourselves and our people to actually monitor movements within our borders? Another fact is the fact that when some of these people raid, they raid with not less than maybe 200 or 300 or even 50, as low as 50 or more in some areas. Then in terms of manpower, security-wise, how many policemen or soldiers are provided within a particular area to defend? These are factors in terms of manpower. And then the issue of poverty is also another factor. You see that when you see hungry people, it is so easy to recruit them into something that can fetch them money. And when some people feel that they have no other alternative to getting money, and but the bandits actually offer them the opportunity to make money. You know, say if you are a member of this particular gang, you'll be earning so and so amount or so. And so because of that, there are many young men who were enlisted into the different gangs and feel that they were actually doing some commercial activities. They look at
Nigerian army is calling on Nigerians to come and join them.
no, that's the latest step being taken by the presidency. The federal government must have noticed and must have identified the fact that many with the Nigerian army actually needs more men to combat this. And that's why you give it to the present administration. President Tinubu is trying to address some of this inefficiency, manpower, even in terms of weapons to be used. You see the acquisition of more weapons and better weapons than had been in the past. You must commend the Nigerian army, men of the Nigerian army. You know, they are great guys, because in spite of the shortcomings, they were able to still confront these people. And I'm very sure that with the support that the federal government is taking now, that things will definitely change in terms of improving manpower, the necessary weapons, surveillance, intelligence gathering, and other factors. I think we can actually get a better environment than what we used to have.
We are moving, and we are getting results, and better results to come. Well, let's go on a very short break. Then when we come back, we go deeper into the matter. Viewers, please stay tuned. We'll be right. Guys, welcome back to the show. In case you're just joining us, this has been Peace and Conflict Resolution on OGTV. And I still have my guest in the house, Dr. Ademola Okuneye, who has been doing justice to the topic, the society and the security challenges. Doctor, the IG has ordered police officers that are being attached to the VIPs are being directed to go back to their base, to resume back to their offices. And how do you see this?
That directive was actually, I think it was the president who directed the IG to withdraw policemen from the VIPs. And you even see that, I don't know whether you have seen where you saw some policemen carrying handbags for some women.
We saw it.
And even you see some policemen even going with some musicians, and then some people who are privileged to occupy some positions. And you know, now take a look at the fact that after the withdrawal, I think we are talking about over 100,000 policemen that have been withdrawn from these people, so-called VIPs. Over 100,000 policemen. And you now wonder, if you are withdrawing over 100,000 from the field, and we are talking about inefficiency, don't forget the fact that I mentioned that when some of these bandits attack, occasionally they attack with people, about not less than 200 people in some areas. But we now say that 50 policemen or even 30 policemen should fight them or confront them. That was the way it had been. And this always make the bandits to overrun occasionally. But if not for the gallantry of the Nigerian policemen and the Nigerian soldiers, who will say that they are fighting for their country. And this is where the issue of patriotism actually coming, even when you take a look at the fact that some Nigerians do not actually appreciate patriotic zeal, which is very essential. So the fact remains that in the area of equipment and the area of manpower, there's a need for an improvement.
We must give it to the state and the presidency as well. Let me say this. The issue of armed robberies and courtesan, even when you don't have Boko Haram, you don't have the herdsmen clashes, you will hear another thing. Courtesans are fighting and all that. Is it the same government that we need to call on, or ourselves?
Well, don't forget that when I was analyzing the initial different groups, when it comes to terrorism and those stuff, I made mention of the motive of each group. The fact that some ethno-religious, some criminality, and some business-minded and those stuff. You take a look at, you are talking about robbery and then cultism. Just as you have said, that the Ogun State government has been really doing some work concerning the control or reduction of attacks or developments, negative developments from these areas.
Some royal father have to step in to make sure this must go down.
That's where you need to actually identify the fact everybody must be involved. But while you are thinking of everybody must be involved, when you talk about robbery, what do you think could actually make somebody to go into robbery? Do you know it's very risky?
Do you think it's poverty?
That is part of it. This is where we just feel that good governance must come into it. Is it with good governance? Do you think that somebody that will be taking a weapon and say he wants to go and attack, you thought he enjoys doing that? You know, it could be very risky just picking a gun and say you want to go and attack. It could be very, very risky. You know, when you get to some developed countries across the world, you see that the rate of robbery is very low. That's because people just believe that why would they go to that extent of going into robbery when they know that they can earn very well and also live well. You see, but there are some people who will say that even to survive or eat can actually be very difficult, and they try as much as possible to say, how did they actually survive? It will get to a particular reason that, let's go and do this, let's go and do that. And those are negative perspectives. This is where good governance needs to actually come in. Good policies, very good program of action that could actually make people to have access to living well and also have access to doing businesses, to get engaged, to get good income. And this is where, in some areas, the issue of corruption must also be addressed. And so, if corruption can be controlled, and then there is good governance, and there is that commitment on the part of leadership, definitely the followership will also key in line concerning those particular areas. So there's just that need for then when we talk about cultism, a very good environment can actually reduce some of this and make sure that we have a better environment.
Okay, doctor, let me ask you this question before we go. Major part of your life, you've spent it dwelling within the, among the youths. And what do you want to tell the government on their part and the youth as a parting shot?
Well, I must tell you one thing. Some observations I've made even among Nigerian youths is that most of them are very creative, and most of them aspire to be better citizens, good citizens. Most of them also are visionary, and many of them have the strength and ability to make our nation better.
Great one.
But occasionally they are frustrated by the elderly, who try as much as possible to restrict them from even going beyond their capacity. The need to give them that opportunity to express themselves is very essential, although occasionally you can come in with some control, measure of control. But actually, I feel that the greatness of Nigeria lies actually in the Nigerian youths, because the youths can actually make things. I don't know whether you have noticed some developments, especially among the Nigerian youths. There was a particular guy that was recently identified as doing greatly in when you talk about AI.
Yeah, yes.
And the guy is doing wonderful. Yeah, exactly. And he's a Nigerian. I grew up within our system, but he's abroad now and being well taken care of and being guided by other societies. The Nigerian youths are the ones you find in many countries across the world today who are developing their needs in terms of science, in terms of technology, in terms of so many opportunities. And some of these developments are sold to Nigeria, and we are buying because of what? Many of the youths have been neglected. Many of the youths have been made to feel that our environment was not conducive enough, and they have also gone outside Nigeria. So there's a need for some policies to sort of encourage the youths and also make a better environment for productivity, one that could make them to express themselves and have those opportunities to operate. Because some of them just need little this encouragement that could actually make them to move further. You see in the entertainment industry, you see Nigerian youths really excelling, and they are good ambassadors of this nation outside or in different. Similarly in sports, and similarly in educational areas, scientific breakthroughs, and so many others. I think they are doing better than the others. But what they just need is that enablement, which the leadership can actually provide.
Till I come your way next week on the same time, same program. Doctor, I say thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much, Oba.
Thank you so much. Yes, it is on this note I want to encourage everyone to be a good Nigerian, and with you, myself, and the effort of the government, we can have the new Nigeria and, of course, a renewed hope.